I'm just on here wondering if anybody's feeling the same way I'm feeling. I'm from Illinois, and I feel like the gas prices and the electric bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore.
They tell us to keep working harder, but for what? To still not afford a place to live? Nah, be serious, because we're out here doing everything right. Working 2 jobs, picking up side hustles, cutting back on everything.
The United States government just gave a death sentence to millions of Americans, and their only crime was being poor. It's just not being wealthy. And it's a execution sentence. And they're joyful about it.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000.
Can we talk about what's going on in the US right now? It's still the richest country in the world, but the living situation right now, the cost of living in the US right now is insane. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Like, the streets are literally full with homeless people living in their vehicles. Like, even if you have a job, it's still not enough to get you the life you want.
I'm just on here. Bills and the prices of food is just so overwhelming anymore. Like, I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling like they're drowning and they can't get out. I work overtime and I cannot get above water. I mean, I literally have no gas for next week. It was either that or get a few groceries to get by. I hit my local food pantries. I'm just wondering if anybody else feels like they're drowning. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day.
They tell us to keep working harder, but for what? To still not afford a place to live? Nah, be serious, because we're out here doing everything right. Working 2 jobs, picking up side hustles, cutting back on everything, from takeout to toilet paper. And for what? To still be priced out of basic housing? To scroll Zillow and see homes starting at $550,000 with an HOA fee on top of that?
With the big beautiful bill passing, what do we do next? Like, the United States government just gave a death sentence to millions of Americans, and their only crime was being poor. It's just not being wealthy. And it's a execution sentence. And they're joyful about it. While the billionaires get to get more yachts, more tax breaks, more money, more mansions. And they're celebrating it. While kids will go starving, kids, adults, the elderly won't get the health care they need to survive. And in America, we already have a messed up healthcare system where people won't even call 911 on themselves because they're afraid of the hospital bill. People are afraid to go to the hospital because they can't afford it. And then now they're cutting these social programs that are supposed to help people. And like, where do we go from here? And then all in the same week, you have Alligator Auschwitz, a concentration camp. And they're celebrating that as well. Joking about how we should feed the immigrants to the alligators, how we should live stream it, how Trump wants to make immigrants run away from alligators and he finds it funny. Like, how do we get past this? Because I'm not seeing any way where the other side, MAGA, could just suddenly change their mind and learn empathy or critical thinking skills. It's like there is no line they won't cross. Like, Trump could start the gas chambers and they would cheer it on. Like, they would. And that's the crazy part. Because they don't see immigrants as human beings. And this dehumanization language, it's not just towards immigrants. It's towards all marginalized groups. Like, this is just the beginning. We're not even in a year in. And all this has happened. It will only get worse. And there's no one to stop them. Congress won't help. The House won't help. The Senate won't help. The judges won't help. The Supreme Court won't help. So where do we go from here? He's militarized the police. He has his own Gestapo. He's militarized ICE. And they don't even have to operate under any sort of like laws. They're just like his own little militia. Like, where do we go from here? We've been taken over by like white supremacists. And they're out and proud white supremacists too. I'm just like, what do we do?
Oh my God. The healthcare system is fucked up. Like, imagine being sick and you don't want to go to the hospital because you can't afford hospital bills. Everything that was said during the elections and the promises that were made to the US citizens have not been met yet. The cost of living is way too expensive now in the US. Rents are high, mortgages, like a lot of people are in debt because they can't meet up. Nothing is being done about it. Food stamp is a whole different topic. Starting 2026, there's so many rules as to what to buy, what not with the food stamps.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, dog's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to... There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
So it has been confirmed that there is no state in the United States where you could work a 40-hour minimum wage work week to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. And my thing is, if y'all know that shit, why the fuck y'all don't do something about that shit? Do y'all want to see us in poverty? Is that the goal, to see us, the people, in poverty? I thought we was working to make America again. And working to make America again is raising minimum wage. Simply just raising minimum wage. Making sure that the cost of living is not too high. Groceries are not expensive to the point where you can't afford them. Just simply making sure that goods and supplies are affordable. But no, instead of making things affordable, here we are going back and forth with China. Now tariff prices are skyrocket high. And it's just simply just so ridiculous because we cannot even save no money. We can't put no money into our savings account. So savings account are for hard times. We're literally working these 40 hours a week just to go to bills. We can't even afford toilet tissue. We can't afford clothes. We can't afford car maintenance. And that's another thing. These car dealerships need to drop their monthly payments also, because most car dealership prices are higher than going to a buy pay here. Because I know for sure mine is like $600 a month, which is kind of affordable, but if you think about it, it's really not affordable. On top of that, phone bill, gas, rent. So yeah, so we're literally just working to pay bills. So if y'all know that there's no state in the United States where you work a minimum wage 40-hour work week, you can't even afford a 2-bedroom apartment. If you simply know that, why don't y'all do something about it? Yeah.
Is anyone else completely sick and tired of living in America where you're expected to work your entire life? Like, we are not here to work. Our jobs are not our lives. Our jobs are not our purpose. Like, everyone asks me, like, what's your job? What are you doing with your life? Like, I'm just trying to save enough and get passive income so I can go travel the world and start my life. Like, everyone thinks their purpose is to work. Like, you get done with high school, then you go to college for 4 years, then you're $30,000 in debt, and then you're trying to find a job just so you can pay off that debt over the next 3 years. And then what? Then you're making enough money just to pay your mortgage and afford groceries and then pay for kids. And then before you know it, you're 60 and you're retiring and your body hurts because of your job and you didn't do anything that you wanted to do. And that's our life. That's what you're expected to do. And if you break out of that, then people are going to judge you and think you're weird or you're crazy or you're a hippie. I'm so sick of it. America needs to make a change. Something needs to change because people are not happy here. People are not living their dreams. People are not living their life. They are working. They think that their work is their life. It is not that way.
I live a good life. I benefit from this system, which is exactly why it pisses me off to see people exploited in this system. I have a home. I have a job. I go to university. I have food in my fridge. These are all things I'm immensely grateful for, which is exactly why I care so much about the people who do not have these things. Everybody should be outraged by the fact that there are people in this country living paycheck to paycheck. That there are people in this country who are genuinely in poverty, while there are people right now, as I speak, making thousands of dollars by the second. There is no reason for there to be homeless people on the street. We have more than enough vacant homes to house these people. But no, we only care about money. It makes complete sense why the rich and the 1% do not care about making life better for the average person. But I'm confused why we, the average American, are not more outraged by the fact that there are people being exploited and genuinely dying because of the current system, while we watch in our face thousands of people live lavishly at their expense.
Like, how are people going to survive this, I don't know if I should say this pandemic, because it's becoming a pandemic, seeing that a lot of people are suffering, complaining about one particular thing, which is the cost of living. This is a pandemic. Back in 2016 up to 2019, life was way more better. Now it's just crazy to see people stretch their paychecks just to meet up. It's insane. How are people surviving right now? No one is doing anything about it. They focus on bringing more AI projects. AI is taking our jobs, and like, technology is all they care about, not the people. Yeah. This is serious. This is serious. I live in Europe and everything really is expensive. even here in Europe, but it's much, much better. Now I see why people are moving out of the US and going to other countries to start a new life, because this can't continue like this. This is sad, really.